Hello, welcome. This is the reading for number 5. We're doing something like, I guess, numerology readings. I'm not even sure what it's for. Take it as your life path number if you'd like, or if the number 5 resonates with you for some reason. Either that, or if you need a certain number, if you're trying to ask about a certain day or something, maybe recognize what day that is and watch a combination of readings that equals that number that you're looking at. Number 5. Also, what you can know is that I'm recording these readings. I'm also streaming live right now on Discord as I'm recording, so there's some people watching and I might be talking, but at the same time I also have a fever. I got my booster shot yesterday and I'm feeling down in the dumps today. I keep hearing the word disco ball. Not exactly sure why. 5 disco balls. Okay. We're getting this general kind of atmosphere in all the readings so far about something about not feeling like there's enough. And this is kind of another side of not feeling enough, or not feeling like you have enough, or not feeling like you have enough to show for something. That it really is a leap of, we're kind of assuming a lot of things when we make statements like that. Like, this isn't enough. Because we tend to kind of see ourselves as Page of Swords sometimes. We see ourselves as, removed from a situation when we're observing it. But meanwhile, maybe the reason why we determine that something isn't enough is because, what is it? We determine that something isn't enough. Do we actually know that? So number 5, I think that the point of what the mirror ball is important. It's that if we're shining a light on something, it's going to reflect back to us in certain ways. Based on what angle we shine the light on it. If we shine on something from the angle of it's not enough, then it's not going to feel like enough. And if we shine on it with a different angle, I think there would be something else to be said. Not to say that, there's something, if you go to a store and something costs $6 and you only have $5, you don't have enough dollars to buy that thing that costs $6. That's a fact. But is it true that you don't have enough to acquire that thing? Could you look for a deal somewhere? That's the idea. Is that, what's your field of research in terms of that you don't have enough, or that something is not enough? From what position are you watching that? And what are you shining your light on? Is it time? Is it money? Is it effort? Why would you... What are you shining your light on? What are you shining your light on? The truth of it is that when we're shining... So number 5, right? We're talking about number 5. Number 5 is basically like this super confident energy. 5 is like just being in it. It's in the middle of it. Sometimes in 5s are depicted here as being kind of like it. It's determining energy. It's the energy that's it's determined. Now we talk about determined like somebody's determined to do something. I would say that sometimes we spend a lot of time in number 5 energy determining something. We determine what is facts. Like, so if this is a number 5, this is the determining, and then I've got a 9 and I've got a 2 basically, it's 11 and then that's a 2, and so then I end up with a 2, right? And it's kind of, this 2 energy is a lot more intuitive. It's like we're actually pretending that we know more than we actually do. Like we're pretending that we have this, not pretending, it's more we're treating things as facts that aren't fully based in facts. There's a feeling about it as well. So I'm seeing a little bit of that we're shining our light on ourselves when we determine what something is. There might be a message for number 5 in that. Strength. Lovers in the 9 of Pentacles. Again a 9, so that's important. 86, isn't that language for, it's restaurant language for hold the, you'd say 86 onions, hold the onions, don't put onions on it. 86, hold the idea that we're independent from it's basically strength is like what we do. It's what we reason, what we have the ability to reason. We can kind of inform our actions with reason. If we're looking into ourselves, if it is the truth, that we're just basically shining a light on a mirror ball that is ourselves, and we have all these different angles of ourselves to shine the light onto. And we can see things in particular ways depending on what we're arriving at this mission, what attitude we have when we're arriving to the mission. I have the energy of somebody who is trying to understand their own, basically trying to understand what it is that they do, how they reason that something is the way it is. How can you be independent from what is? Like, if you're in a situation and you try to look within yourself to understand what is you and what is the situation. You try to separate yourself from a situation that you've determined is a certain way. It kind of, I'm getting this impossibility, 86. It's like we can't go there. We can't go to that place because we are an observer. So when we observe something, we're affecting that thing. Hang on, I'm just getting there's something about maybe the sound got a bit quieter? I'm not sure. Did I do something? It's kind of coming back on the, it's coming back on the recording thing to be a bit the same. Maybe it is a bit quieter. Let me increase the volume on my side a little bit. Just a little bit. Maybe I'm talking quieter. I'm good? Okay, well, I upped the volume a little bit. In all honesty, in all honesty, this is the thing. We can try and be bigger than our britches, and we can try our very best to make some assumptions. We understand that we have to like take some leaps, and we have to assume certain things. We have to use our intuition. We have to feel things out, and sometimes there just isn't enough time to fully investigate. You know, the difference between what is me and what is a situation that I'm in. There isn't enough time sometimes to differentiate. Sometimes we have to make a call before we've had a chance to fully explore. And even if we go inside to explore, what is it that I'm doing to hold up a situation versus, what is it that's not me? What's not me in this situation? The truth of the matter is that in a certain situation that I feel like we're going to investigate right now, there's no way of knowing what is not you. There's no way of separating yourself from something that you're deciding to observe in a certain way as not enough. If you say that something's not enough, if you determine the definition of something is not enough, you are basically almost sentencing yourself to this impossibility. I guess this is what people are talking about when they say try to hold back on your try to hold back on your judgments. Truth be told, this King of Wands says, what is this situation? What's not enough? Two of Cups. No, we're doing it again. We got two twos here, very significant. If I have less to say about twos. We're basically two here. We've got a two here. We've got a two here. It's a lot of intuitions being used. Intuitively, I know that I can't know what isn't me, what is just me, and what is just the situation. Or intuitively I know that I can't. I have to be honest. I can't determine, what separates me from the situation I'm in, truth be told. Intuitively, I know that I can't even know what is my intuition and what is a factual observation sometimes. This is kind of like a lot of self-doubt, and I'm okay with it just to kind of like read the energy, but I wonder, what is fueling such self-doubt? Because we were in a reading in number 4 of somebody who was being told quite a bit that they weren't enough. And I wonder if there was somebody who was telling you that, you can't count on yourself to understand your own decisions. I've got the Lover's card here, and I have the Two of Cups, and I didn't quite get the energy of a relationship with another person here. Which is interesting, but I'm getting the energy of a relationship that somebody has with themselves. When they're observing something in a particular way and they're wanting to kind of then step back from what they've observed, as if their observation didn't affect the outcome of the scenario. It's kind of meta. 5. Knight of Wands. Now this Queen of Swords is very 5 energy. 4 energy. 4. Another 2. We've got all the 2s up here. All the 2s are here. Something significant about 2s. So you might want to watch the 2 reading. That might be something. And We're interacting with something that we don't know. I've been getting this message today pretty much all day during fevery dreams and things. I've been sleeping kind of a lot today, on and off, napping. And I've been having these dreams, and it's been about basically our relationship with the things that we don't know, and how do we perceive what we don't know, because we can't honestly say that we know what we don't know. It's that we know that we don't know some things, but we wouldn't be able to know how many things we don't know because we don't know what they are. And it's one of those kind of strange places to be. Holding space for what we don't know, that like we can kind of have this interpretation that there's the things that we know and there's the things that we don't know, and as long as I hang on to both those things separate from one another, then I'm good to go and I can do whatever I want. But then there's this decision that one day, if I'm to decide to kind of integrate these two things, I have two choices. I can integrate what I know and what I don't know, and I can put those two things together to equal an outcome, or I can separate what I know from what I don't know, and I can just know that I don't know any of it. This is really a riddle of a reading for number 5. Something fun. The whole thing's just super confusing. So if you've been kind of participating lately in these kind of, riddles that leave you with less information than where you started, contemplating where you end and a circumstance you're in begins, what's the boundary there between you and your circumstances? It looks like there's always going to be a reason to question your own actions. There's always going to be that reason that exists in this Two of Swords energy. In the Two of Cups energy, there's always going to be, it's always going to be confusing, the scenario, to kind of try to integrate. It's actually, when you're integrating what you don't know with what you end up doing, it's like you don't know why you do things certain times. And when you integrate those two things together, what you're kind of like, I'm getting this like, you don't know why you do the things that you do. That's what I'm getting in this integration. So it's like either holding apart the things that I do from what I don't know, or I don't know why I do the things that I do. So this would be, I know why I do what I do. Queen of Swords, Page of Swords, I know. But truth be told, says the King of Wands, I don't actually know. So this is endless loop. And it's like we're trying to hold on to something, to like an understanding here. I want a practical example. Like, this seems all very much like a riddle. Like, what's the practical example? One more card and tell us. Just like that. Six of Cups. Of course. Okay, so how can we see those 3 cards in a row? Six of Cups, Two of Cups, the Lover's card. This is regarding others. What do you know about others? Number 5 energy, I got just basically a reading here that you might have actually overestimated your ability to know something about another, and all you have to do is take a look at what you know about yourself in order to, and this, so that sounds maybe a little bit pointy or whatever, but I think that, number 5 energy is pretty much like take it as it comes energy. So I would imagine that you've got a good handle on how to hear something like that. If you're wondering about the level of accuracy that you have when you judge another person as being this, that, or another, or another scenario, or a circumstance that you're in as being this, that, or the other, if you're wondering about the accuracy with which your judgments, can inform you, just look no further than the accuracy with which you can understand yourself in terms of what you know and what you don't know about yourself. There's something salty in here. Very salty. 8 of Swords. Ooh, see? I don't know why I do the things that I do. Might be something that resonates with you quite a bit sometimes. I don't know why I do the things that I do. So then how can you know why somebody else does the things that they do? I just feel it. Because I can just feel it. It's almost like I'm having a conversation with somebody who's like arguing with me or like participating in a debate of some sort. Like it's a riddle. It's almost like, okay, well then, I feel it. I know I feel it. I feel that, whatever this is. I get this energy, the 5 of Pentacles that's under here. It's being covered up by all of this, but this is still here in my mind quite a bit, that you've judged a scenario as being not enough, or you've judged a scenario as not having enough, or not giving you enough. And if it's not giving you enough, that is the circumstance that doesn't give you enough. This is what you've decided anyway. For now, because what are you going to do? You're in a scenario, you've got to make judgment calls, right? Is there room to hold space for what you don't know about a person or a situation that you're in? I'm reading about something specific, something that you've been judgmental about, something that you've judged like that you feel that your judgment is accurate on this thing. I'm not saying that you should be questioning, your ability to make judgment calls. I'm wondering if it doesn't feel right, that you feel something about a scenario, but you don't have any kind of like intellectual material to back it up. It's all based on a feeling, that you decided something based on a feeling, but you don't know why you did it. The why is kind of a mystery. Nine again, 7, Knight of Pentacles. Three, 7, 9. I see that it's almost like a critique, like I'm actually speaking from the perspective of somebody who's pointing at you and saying, you're doing this and you're doing that. So I think it's number 3 reading. You might want to go there because there's this kind of like somebody telling someone that they're not enough all the time. And now here I'm getting this energy here of like, well, you are consistently offering this almost like that you did the best you could, that you tried. You're consistently offering that you tried. What are we even talking about? Are we talking about you consistently offering that you tried your best to understand what was going on? This is something that's confusing, so we're not getting any clarity out of it. I don't know why I did what I did. I just felt like doing it. I know that I did my best. I know that I offered everything that I could. And what I see is that this kind of, I offered everything I could. It's 7 of Swords. It's like getting away with something. It's like, this is, you're selling yourself short when you say this. That I know I did the best I could. Do you know that? Or are you capable of something a bit more nuanced? See, it's kind of like I see somebody who's wanting to look within. I've got this, wanting to shine a light onto the mirror ball, but like, and recognizing that it's a mirror ball, recognizing that there's just a whole lot of different, it's confusing. There's a lot of confusion going on in a situation. You don't know why you did what you did, but you're going to say something like, I don't know why I did what I did, but I know that I did my best. How do you know that you did your best if you don't know why you did what you did? How do you know that you did your best if you don't know the whole thing was so confusing? Like, it's just kind of like, yes, I think sometimes that we need to tell ourselves that we're doing our best, because otherwise we might get discouraged and we might not feel too good about ourselves, and we want to like give ourselves a comfort, like it's something like offer ourselves something of a like, here, like it's okay, everything's okay. But I'm seeing somebody who's really wanting to look within. Like I have to dig deep here to get down to this hermit. Somebody who's wanting to shine a light on what it is that, what makes them tick. What's going on inside? How is it that they're going to integrate what they know with what they don't know? I'm getting this kind of maturity energy. Somebody who's, finally realizing something about their own maturity, that this might be actually the way to go, is to recognize that it's kind of selling yourself short to just say, well, I know I did the best I could. Because that kind of like ends the story. I did the best I could, the end. And meanwhile, there's still a whole lot that you're aware that you didn't see, or that you're not seeing, in something that you determined was basically not enough, with a lot of certainty. But also, if you are going to tell me, what is it that you knew? How did you know that? You're going to tell me, well, it was so confusing. The whole thing was so confusing. Well, then how do you know? How do you know with such certainty that it wasn't enough? Is it that it didn't give you enough clarity? That's what I wonder. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you feel you need more clarity. You were doing the best you could, and it was so confusing. Therefore, it wasn't enough. I've determined that. Now, I know there's things I still wasn't seeing. I'm kind of speaking as character. I know there are some things that I still wasn't seeing, but I saw enough to know that it wasn't enough. Not for me. Because I know who I am, except for I don't know why I do the things that I do. Do you see all the contradictions that are going on here? There's like a real struggle inside to make sense of what I know versus what I don't know. I can imagine this scenario applies to, it's like basically like different things for different people. Like everybody goes through this kind of thing. I don't think it's like there's nothing wrong with you. This seems like pretty in line with things that everybody goes through on a daily basis. I did have this kind of wondering earlier about between readings. I wondered if it was like somebody questioning their own faith, like understanding how they interact with their own faith in things. Like, is my faith in something, if I'm going to say that, I'm going to say that I have faith that everything's just going to work itself out for the best? Am I selling myself short? Or is there something that I could be doing? Is it something that I'm, like number one reading was like this. It was like something that I could be doing to actually contribute here on the ground to making sure that something that went a certain way, or that I do have an effect on the way things go. There's that King of Swords. All right, let's put it this way. The things that you know would be kind of in the upright, and the things that you don't know would be in the reverse. No, the other way around. I'm sorry about that. The things that you know are in the reverse. The things that you don't know are in the upright. First card that comes out is in the both position. You both know and you don't know. Even when I would say, so like this is kind of like even when you've made it's a theoretical, the wisest decision you could possibly make. Even in, which is theoretical, it's something that you can't be aware of because, you know, we can't know what the wisest decision you could possibly make is. Even when you're making the wisest decision that you could possibly make, it would involve kind of abandoning both what you know and what you don't know, because in a way you want to grow, you want to kind of like, there's something, I've got this energy of somebody who wants to emerge from a circumstance that they're in with more knowledge, with more understanding of who they are as a person. Yet I've got this really strange feeling my stomach, listen to that. I've got this really strange feeling that there's this assumption that in order to understand more about who we are as a person, in order to be the wisest possible person we could be, that we would have to leave what we already know behind. That we have to kind of like leave our feelings behind. That we have to kind of like, it's like we have to, that it doesn't matter what we do know, because we need to be like this guru of some sort that like is understanding I don't actually know anything. And once I have that full freedom and detachment from my conscious intellectual abilities, then I'll understand exactly what the wisest decision is. This is kind of striking me as it's extremism. It's kind of practicing something to an extreme, to the point where we're denying a part of ourselves in order to gain something else that we feel we've determined exists, that we determined that it's going to be possible to be this all-knowing person, the person who's capable of making the wisest possible decision. And we've already determined here, you might not, I don't know, there might be something where you've already determined that this is wisdom. You've already defined wisdom before you've become wise. And you've already taken steps to abandon things that are not wisdom. All these feelings just get in the way. Because it's not enough. This can't be wisdom. Having all these feelings can't be wisdom. And so I'm just going to leave them all behind, and then, you know, this is really interesting. What is it? Oh, I got such chills, and my muscles are aching. This is High Priestess. Right on. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Well, so hopefully if there's anybody who wanted that kind of philosophical touch, this is really what this is. It's that kind of bumping up against those limitations. There's more. This could be speaking to somebody who is looking to, you might not know that you actually have some pretty serious psychic gifts. And the frustration that you encounter sometimes, maybe if you're trying to separate yourself from your environment so that you can know what is you and what is the environment, like so that you can know what would be your message and what would be a message that you're receiving to give. Sometimes there's a misconception. So I feel like this might be just for like somebody who's reading tarot, or somebody who is even, you know, whatever kind of like using their psychic energy to engage with others. That there's a misconception sometimes that the name of the game is to separate yourself from the energy. Oh, you know, I've heard this so many times, you know, like, oh, I'm just going to do a Palo Santo to, like, you know, cleanse the cards of my energy, or the energy of the previous reading, or cleanse the space of any negative energy. And it's like, no, if you're going to be reading energy, now this is just, of course, a reading, so feel free to disagree, but if you're going to be reading energy that you didn't previously know existed, then you're not in a position to judge whether or not that energy is positive or negative or desirable or undesirable. This curiosity here is where we're headed. It's to open our eye, to open our eye. You might resonate with that. As a number 5, it makes a lot of sense to me that you want to be very kind of deterministic in what it is that you're doing. That you would want to determine and define what it is that you're doing. Meanwhile, once you define what you're doing, then you might notice something different. Candle goes out in a dramatic way. You could be reading all kinds of books. I don't know, I just got the energy of somebody who's got like tons and tons and tons of books about how to connect with psychic energy, and wanting to be as objective as possible about it. Like, I'm just gonna, like, you know, read what the experts are saying about all this stuff. I feel like I have these gifts, but I just gotta, you know, like, everybody has them, and I just have to tap into it in a very responsible way, and I'm gonna do the best possible version of connecting with my intuition. And until I know the best possible version of connecting with it, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not going to accept any less. If I can't be completely wise about it, I don't want to do it. That's this energy. It's like, it is. It's like, because I don't know. I don't know why I'm getting these messages. I don't know why I'm doing the things I'm doing. If I don't know, that's not enough clarity for me. That's this reading. That's not enough clarity. It's not enough clarity for me to not know. Meanwhile, planning to do something on your own to gain clarity. About the unconscious energy that connects everybody in such a way where you could possibly read energy psychically. There's a question mark that's put up here for you. Isn't it kind of ridiculous to assume this is something of a wisdom that you'll acquire on your own? Is it that you're, you know, when you're high priestess here, is it that you're, you know, aiming your radar, or you're, shining your light on a particular mirror ball or the size of it, like at one side or another, that you're controlling where you're aiming your energy? Do you feel like you're controlling the whole world and you're controlling where it is that you project your intentions? And so is this what it's about? Is it about, reading? Are you reading energy about anything else other than yourself in that scenario? And are you reading energy of anything else than about what you already know about yourself in that scenario? There's something about, it's not enough to just feel it. And there's something about here, like there is something curious going on. I am curious about this. But I'm not exactly sure. If there's something to feeling it, it doesn't seem to be enough. But isn't that something that you're deciding about, something that you don't know about? It's almost like you're generating your own clarity with the things that you've given yourself to interpret with. Like you're interpreting. This is very difficult energy to describe. I totally get what this is, and I can relate with it because I've been here, and I am here quite a bit. It's basically like when I'm defining what it is that is unknown, then I'm limiting what is unknown to what I've defined. That's pretty much it. Why are we getting that for number 5? This is the end of something. So I don't think this energy is going to last for much longer. There's a reason why you're in this energy, I think. I think there's it's activating something. There's something fresh coming out of it. It's maybe a period of darkness where you've maybe been questioning your faith and things a little bit. What you might not understand, though, is that you're actually really good at what you do. I'm speaking, I think, to maybe somebody who practices reading tarot, or, who's considering maybe connecting deeper with their own gifts of some sort. You might be attracted to the idea of clarity. The fact that you're attracted to the idea of clarity automatically implies that there's a lot of things that you don't know and that you'd like to know about. I see that this period of darkness has been to allow you some space to step away from needing to determine what it is that you're going for before you explore. I see curiosity here as being the key energy. Rather than determining what a feeling is, feel the feeling. And if you're moving, this is kind of like an advice, if you're basically moving back toward an energy that you maybe kind of determined what this psychic energy is that you have, and you've been kind of wanting to reconnect with it, but not really feeling like it's a wise thing to do for the lack of wisdom that you feel you have, you can understand that you will have a lot more reasons than just your own to do that in the near future. I'm seeing a prediction about maybe you being of some kind of a service to things. Yeah, temperance, look at that. Wow. Okay, you know what? An Ace of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, Queen of Cups. Okay, definitely. I wonder if you're about to connect to something a bit bigger than you've ever been able to imagine that you're connected to. That's what I wonder. And what I see here is this is just basically a reading about somebody who's like getting comfortable, getting comfortable. There's a discomfort with what you're doing or how you might go about doing it. There's a discomfort with things, with serving people. Maybe it's actually like with doing readings. If you're a tarot reader, you might be uncomfortable reading for other people because you're not sure if what you're doing is a wise thing. And I'm not saying that you should read tarot, you shouldn't read tarot for other people. It's up to you, I don't know. But what I'm seeing here is that there's a shift in energy for you. That it becomes less about needing to know that you are doing a wisest possible thing, and understanding rather that no matter what you do, you're going to be affecting the world around you. This is kind of like almost like that thing of like that young energy that's kind of dismissing, you know, or playing off, you know, like, oh, it's, you know, it's just confusing, you know, I just determined that something's too confusing. And it might be more an anxiety about what it is, what effect you have on the world in general, rather than it being just about the whatever psychic kind of activity that you're participating in. Is like, I'm really getting like reading tarot cards. There could be something about you're going to do well. I'm giving you a message. You're going to do well with whatever you do. You don't have to be the best at something in order to do it. As long as you're going for more clarity, as long as you're headed toward, and you keep heading toward a place where you're attracted to learning more, you're going to do well. That's the message for you. And that no matter what you do, you're going to be having an effect on the world around you. So let's not just isolate that to one particular thing that you're currently considering. That I bet you if you were considering something else other than this High Priestess, you might have a similar feeling about just having that. It's a timid, freezing energy. I don't know if I want to do anything because I don't want to affect the world in a negative way. Negative. You've determined that already before you even know what the effect is. I'm getting this kind of like constantly thinking about what's next. And an awareness that comes for you very, very, very soon. So hang on. It's coming. The message is coming. I see it arriving very soon. If I can give you timing on this, even, I think I can. 7. I'm almost getting like by the next time it's 7 o'clock, you're going to understand what I'm saying. I don't know what time it is now, but the next time your clock turns to 7 o'clock, I feel like that's it. You're going to know. All right, I'm up. Thanks so much for watching this reading, and thanks so much for supporting the channel. If you can, there's a PayPal link for donations if you have any to spare to toss into the hat. And otherwise, you can support the channel by following, or I guess subscribing to this YouTube channel. There's also, we stream tarot readings live on Twitch, usually on Saturday nights. Come check it out. Late. Into the morning. Eastern time. I usually start around 10 p.m., 11 p.m. on Saturday, Eastern Standard Time. All right, anyway, thanks so much for watching the reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you later. Bye.